This is a podcast from soof.co.uk. Hello, I'm Patrick Downs. This is all about film, whether it be Blu-ray, DVD or streaming.
Last Train to Christmas, Tony Towers is a local celebrity, a successful nightclub manager, and is engaged to a younger woman, Sue. Things get a little strange though when he embarks upon the 317s in Nottingham for a Christmas family reunion. So stars Michael Sheen and Nathalie Emmanuel, and our film correspondent Hayley Donaghy caught up with Michael and Nathalie about what drew them into their characters.
Well, I think of all the characters who could be shown his life and all the choices he's made and all the things that he's done, Tony Towers is such a great character to do that to, because he's such an unlikely person. You know, like in the classic Christmas stories like Christmas Carol or It's a Wonderful Life, you know, you got Scrooge, you got Jimmy Stewart, and Tony Towers is, I mean, he is one of the most recognizable faces on the East Midlands nightclub scene. So we're talking, I mean, he's a substantial character to go on this journey with, but nevertheless, he's not a man who's really spent much time thinking about his inner life or the choices he's made. He's just living life and he wants people to have fun. But to take him through, you know, all the different decades, all the hairstyles, all the choices he's made, all the relationships, he slowly, I think, starts to kind of, underneath all the layers of, you know, he's got a lot of ego going on and there's a lot of nonsense about Tony, but underneath he's a good guy, I think, and slowly as we strip away the different layers, as he revisits his life, he sees what's important to him and he sees the things that he's done that maybe he would like to put right. The question is whether he's going to make things worse by his time travel hijinks or not. And of course he realizes how much he cares about Sue, the character that Nathalie plays.
Absolutely, yeah, and yeah, you mentioned Sue. So Nathalie, there are kind of a few moments where we're made to question Sue's character, but I think she's a good girl. Could you tell us about who she is and again what drew you into her?
Well, yeah, I think you're right. Just the immediate dynamic of these two characters, it's like you automatically question her motives for being with Tony and, you know, what her agenda is. And but I think as we kind of see them interacting and as the story develops, you realize that she really is just a simple girl. She wants just like a happy, peaceful life, and she wants it with Tony, and she really does support him and believe in him and she's like his biggest cheerleader, really, when everyone else, his family, seem to just put him down and not, I guess they're kind of seeing him through the lens of his many mistakes maybe, and she's kind of just sees him through these fresh eyes, and she wants to like support him in his endeavors, and ultimately like you realize that her feelings for him are genuine, and she really does want to build that lovely life together, which is probably something Tony wasn't anticipating.
Yeah, well, I think when we meet Tony and Sue in 1985 at the beginning of the film, I think it's quite good that an audience might just put them in a box, you know, go, oh, I know who these people are, I get, you know, and go for the sort of stereotype. And as the film goes on and we go through the story, we realize that they each, both individually, have a lot more to them than might be first apparent, but also as a relationship, there's a lot more there. I think Tony discovers that there's a lot more to that relationship than even he thought was there to begin with, and it comes to matter more and more to him. So I like that at the beginning, an audience might underestimate who these people are and what this relationship is, and that we realize that there's a lot more to it as it goes along.
And you mentioned the decades and the hair and makeup. Michael, we have to ask you about the hair and makeup. Wow, the costume and everything. Just how much did you relish those looks?
Well, I mean, I loved it, but I think everyone who worked on the film, you know, when all the different departments, hair and makeup, costume, the art department, even the camera department, everyone gets to kind of really be creative and imaginative, because the film is looking at a man's life from the 1940s right up to 2000, you know, the 2020s, and it's so you get to see all those different looks, all those different decades, and everyone got to be working at kind of full creative and imaginative, full tilt, I think, on this. So people were just really excited and enjoying it. And every time, you know, I'd walk out of my trailer having had a new look, it was it was quite remarkable, I have to say.
Oh, my favourite was when I bumped into you and you were in the 70s look. It was excellent. I just popped in for like a hair test or something. I wasn't going to film that day. It was wonderful. So good.
I mean, I have to say, you know, people pulled out all the stops. It was amazing. And, you know, there were some looks that I had to spend, I mean, there's one look that I had to spend 8 hours in makeup before I went onto the set. And, I mean, I won't give anything away and say what it is, but, you know, when you're spending that long in the hair and makeup trailer, then you want to make sure it's worth it. But also at the same time, you don't want that to overwhelm the film, you know, because that's one of the challenges of the film. You want the audience to be able to really go on the journey with the characters and really engage with what's going on for them. And there's so much else to enjoy in this film as well. You know, so much stuff that's just so enjoyable, hopefully. But you want to make sure that the audience is still hooked into that central thing of what matters to these characters. So hopefully there's a good balance there.
Absolutely. And as I said, we give this to regional radio stations. So I was wondering if I could ask both of you for our Nottingham stations. I'm not sure if you filmed there, maybe not, but obviously you're on the train to Nottingham. Have you been there before? You know, what do you like about the area and what could you say to our Nottingham listeners this Christmas?
I don't think I've ever been to Nottingham.
Have you not?
No.
Well, Nottingham's been a very important place to me. Julian Kemp, who wrote and directed the film, is from Nottingham, from Beeston. I've spent many a lovely day in Beeston with Julian, because we've been best mates since we were at drama school together. So when we were like 18, 19, we first met. He came back to Wales with me, to Port Talbot. I came to Beeston with him, met his family, and we've gone back and forth ever since. So I've had a wonderful time in Nottingham. And of course, this film is all set on the train to Nottingham, from London to Nottingham on Christmas Eve. So it has a real Nottingham flavour to it. One of my favourite Nottingham and film stories is, I remember Julian saying that he went to see Robin of Sherwood, or Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, you know, in the cinema in Nottingham. And there was a moment where there was this huge castle suddenly appeared on the screen in this massive forest, and the little caption underneath was Nottingham Castle. And of course, in Nottingham, everyone in Nottingham knows the Nottingham Castle doesn't look anything like that. So there was a massive, uproarious laughter in the cinema that I don't think the people in Hollywood were quite ready to understand. But that's one of my favourite Nottingham film stories. And I've been down there and seen the Brian Clough statue, because I played Brian Clough in The Damned United, obviously a great hero in Nottingham. And whenever I go into Nottingham, I always try and go and visit Brian's statue in the centre of Nottingham there. So that's always been very important to me as well. So Merry Christmas to everyone in Nottingham, especially Beeston.
Wonderful. And just finally to both of you, obviously this Christmas setting, they're on the train to Christmas. What are each of your Christmas traditions?
I think, well, to be honest, it's just being with my mum and my sister. We just have to be together. It's this sort of like non-negotiable at this point. Now that we're all like older and have our own, you know, like lives and families, and we all just come together and somehow be together. But we definitely, at some point, like Home Alone gets played, and it's always very exciting. I mean, it's different for me now. I have a different experience of this, but like when the cheese board comes out, it's like the cheese board's out. I've been vegan for many years, so now my cheese board's a bit different, but it's still an exciting moment. There has to be a cheese board. That's bigger. And we watch The Snowman. The Snowman as well also has to be watched.
Well, of course, Christmas traditions have changed over the years. I don't think you can ever forget the Christmas traditions when you were a kid, obviously, and the years of sitting in the kitchen, waiting for Dad to finish his breakfast before we could go into the room. No, I got to finish my cornflakes first. It was always that. So I'll never have a Christmas that doesn't hang over me. But this Christmas, our little one, Lyra, she's 2. So this is her first Christmas really where she's kind of aware of what is going on, and she's excited about Santa and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all that kind of stuff. So this Christmas we'll be starting new traditions. It's really exciting to think, well, Lyra's Christmases really start this year and all those traditions. So we've got to be, I'm really aware now of anything we do. We're starting her traditions.
Are you going to eat cornflakes and make her wait to open presents?
Absolutely. No, Lyra, no. Daddy's got to finish his breakfast first.
It's so funny. In our house growing up, we had to wait until after Christmas dinner, like Christmas lunch. No, I know. And it's so funny when we talk about it now. My mum gets like a bit upset. She's like, oh, I didn't do that. We're like, Mum, you did. Yes, you did. And we had to wait. And it was so funny. But I think we're a bit more relaxed about that now.
Oh, wonderful.
That's Train to Christmas is available now. And with that, thanks for checking me out on the Bring the Film podcast today. I'm Patrick Downs, and you can keep in touch across Twitter at I'm Patrick Downs, also on Instagram or facebook.com/officialpoptart. And there's also the website soof.co.uk. This is a podcast from soof.co.uk.